and burn.
Hey everybody! So tonight I will be discussing Faces of Death 3. This is my least favorite of the series, but I figured since I was knocking out all of them and I'd received a couple messages asking if whether or not, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Anyways, doesn't matter. I'd received a couple messages wondering if I could round out the entire set of 4 of them. I figured what the hell, so I did the first one, I've already got that up, and here I am doing the third. Now this one to me has always sort of felt like leftovers, but now I watched it again about an hour prior to me doing this, give or take, and I have to say that actually this one has grown on me. I haven't seen it since the last time I saw it, which would have been decades ago, and it did feel like leftovers there, and lots of this are really, a massive percentage of this are really bad reenactments. But what I liked about it this time around was that Dr. Gross isn't trying so hard. He seems to be acting like a real doctor, not the actor Michael Carr portraying a doctor. Dr. B. Gross sounds and acts like more, or the most like a doctor in this. His commentary isn't quite as heavy-handed as it was in the first 2, and he doesn't seem to talk as much. So it's like it'll just show something horrific, and then he'll just chime in and say like, okay, such and such should have known that wearing a seatbelt was an important part of taking a car ride. See, what I found in the first and second one was he'll chatter more. He's a little more chatty, and it did sort of escalate the fake factor a little too much for me. But this one feels more like a legit, like, medical documentary that perhaps you might watch in school at some point. This one has a much larger focus on crime. This entire movie, or documentary, or whatever, what the fuck is that noise? Oh, that's just not good. It sounds big, too. Just whatever it is, fuck off. Anyways, this one feels, it's like it's more crime focused. There is, it seems like they'll show, like this one has the courtroom rape, which of course is committed by the director. That was pointed out to me in one of the comments in one of the other Faces of Death movies I did. I already bashed the rape in one of my other ones. It's not very real, still disgusting, but the guy that commits the rape is the director, and then of course the character he's playing kills himself in one of the holding cells because this is Faces of Death and they have to be all super badass. There's stuff in here about drug trafficking. There's a bomb goes off and they have to bring in the bomb squad at one point. There's interviews with like friends of victims of crimes in that at the beginning of this, and the interviews feel staged, but the people don't seem like actors because I noticed a couple of them were missing a lot of teeth. So I think the interviews were real, but maybe the interviewees were coached prior. There's one part that leads into the inevitable, or at this point, the obligatory footage of going into a slaughterhouse. You see Dr. Gross in what I'm assuming is in his backyard playing with his kids, and he's petting a rabbit, and then it cuts straight into the slaughterhouse footage of a bunch of rabbits being killed. And that is like the other Faces of Death. Like, again, there's that heavy-handed on-the-nose bullshit that they go for. This was pretty much the only time in this movie that I found that it got that heavy-handed. Again, this one feels more restrained, like Dr. Gross, again, is an actual medical professional who is just recounting the horrors that you're seeing in a very medically precise and sound way. But then the thing with the rabbits and playing with his kids, because he's got a family and these types of things don't bother him, he's petting a fucking rabbit. I mean, it cuts straight to footage of going into a slaughterhouse where they're killing rabbits. These movies are so dumb. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, that's right. This has there's a number of diving focuses. A diver dies. I think he asphyxiates somehow under the water. Don't really buy the legitimacy behind that because there's a camera right there with him, and it's a professionally shot footage too, and it's right up on his face. And it's like, wow, so you just, the cameraman saw this guy asphyxiating underwater for whatever reason, like something was going wrong with his diving gear or whatever, and he just figured, fuck it, I'm just going to keep filming him and I'm not going to help him. So I'm not sure about that. And the Barracuda Attack that's in this, I also don't really buy that. The guy's face has so much mud or some shit on it. He looks like Joe, the zombie Joe from Lucio Fulci's The Beyond, the plumber Joe. He looks like zombified Joe the plumber from The Beyond. And your face doesn't tend to stay covered in mud when you're underwater. So I don't know if that was supposed to be slashes to his face or something that the Barracuda did to him. But the Barracuda Attack just shows one nick to the face, and then the blood starts pushing up through the water. But then when they pull him out, again, he looks like Joe the plumber from fucking The Beyond. So I'm not exactly sure regarding the legitimacy of that clip either. Everything about this, I don't know, I'm just tired of these, basically. I liked this one way more this time, but it is still going to be my least favorite of the series. The fourth one is always going to be like the one I go to because for whatever reason, that's the one I kind of like think most fondly about because I was a kid when I saw that. I think I saw them in order. But when I saw the fourth one, I assumed more the same because I know back then I didn't love the third one. And I think the reason that all these years later I still call out to the fourth one being my favorite is because of how it surprised me by how much I liked it, considering how much I disliked the third one. And yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to say here. The bunny thing, again, Jesus Christ, it's just eye-rollingly, God, that's bad. But look, that's it. I'm going to leave it there. So this one is short, thankfully, because it's getting cold out here too. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for almost 7 minutes while I discussed Faces of Death 3. It came out way the hell back when I was a kid, and I still had hope for my future. Like always, if you like this review, or you like this movie, don't forget to go and do something nice for somebody. But most importantly, please don't forget that the world is so much more fun because you're here. And yeah, so thank you so much for making it to the end. I really appreciate it. I'm sick of these movies. I'm not watching them anymore. They're gross and depressing and kind of stupid. And that fucking rabbit thing. Jesus Christ. Have a good night.